Welcome to Live Better Longer. I'm your host, Bill Borton. My guest this week, Marissa Costonis, is a health change guru. She's the author of the new book, Change Bites, 5 Change Management Strategies to Transform Your Health. Marissa spent over 10 years leading a variety of transformation projects for Fortune 100 companies around the world. Today, she uses these same best practices to help her clients make a food and health transformation. Marissa, welcome to Live Better Longer.
Thank you, Bill, and thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
Well, we're excited to have you. So tell me a little bit more about your transition from corporate to what you're doing now.
So my journey started a long time ago. I worked with Accenture in their change management consulting practice for well over 10 years. And I helped clients, as you said, with a variety of change initiatives around the world. Bank mergers, reorgs, performance measurement systems, technology, a variety of different, really transformational type projects. And after many years of doing that, I found myself with a growing list of health problems. And it started with some migraines and chronic sinus infections and viral infections and digestive issues. But it really hit its peak when I started getting neuropathy, starting in my leg, which is a numbness and tingling. It spread to the other leg, went all through my body and up into my arms and eventually into my face. And I knew that I couldn't ignore these health problems any longer.
Stress and working too much really can take its toll on you.
It sure can. So it took me years, as with a lot of other people, to try to find out what the problem and a solution is. And eventually I did find a solution, but it wasn't what I was expecting or hoping for. They told me I needed to change 90% of my diet.
Oh my.
I had to give up grains, gluten, dairy, no processed foods, low sugar. I'm 100% Italian. I mean, we plan our next meal before we're finished the first one. So food is important to me. So I was really paralyzed, and I didn't even know how to begin. So I said, wait a minute, I thought you were a change expert. So I decided to go back and look at all the best practices and the principles that I used with successful organizations and see if anything would apply. And I was shocked. It all applied. And that's how the 5 Bites to Health methodology and step-by-step process was born. And now I use it with my clients in my health coaching practice every day.
That's very interesting. Well, I know there's a lot of eating styles that are newer and a lot of diets out there that people come to for one reason or another, often to lose weight or to feel better. But isn't taking the approach of food as medicine a good way to go?
Bill, that's a great question, and it's absolutely a great way to go. Food is medicine. We are what we eat, after all. And what I found in my research is that more and more people are using diet as a way to address their health issues, which is great. And we are so lucky because there are hundreds of diets out there for a variety of health issues and eating styles, and that's terrific. What I found, though, is that the problem isn't what to eat, it's how to change. That's where the real challenge lies. People get stuck and they jump to drastically new diets that look nothing like the way they eat today. And that's why 95% of all diets fail. So what I hope to do is to address that in-between space between the before and after and help people with the transition so that they can see long-lasting lifestyle changes and improvements in their health in the long term.
Fascinating. Well, one thing I've learned over the years is that it's not change that people are so resistant to, it's the anticipation of change. It can paralyze you.
Yeah.
But once you've made the change, you look back and go, that wasn't so bad. And then you'd think the next time you're faced with another one, you know, it wouldn't play all over again.
Right.
Yet we as human beings are really resistant to the idea of change.
Absolutely. That's a great point. And, you know, one of the things we need to think about is knowing kind of what are the foods that maybe aren't so good for you, and identifying what foods are not that great for me. I call them trigger foods. So foods that you suspect might not be good for your body.
What do you mean, like cheese fries?
Yes.
And things like that?
Exactly. And I find that with clients, the more resistant and emotionally connected they are to a food, chances are there's a very high chance that that food is a particular problem. So we use food diaries and other ways to sort of listen to your body and listen to what it tells you, because change isn't so hard when you listen to the messages from your body and it tells you, like, hey, this food just isn't working for me.
So listening to messages from our body? I mean,
I know.
What are we talking about?
I know, it sounds a little crazy, but if you use a process called an elimination diet and you take some high allergen foods out of your diet for just 2 weeks, take it completely out of your diet, and then add it back in, those messages become really clear. And most people stay in denial as long as possible because they don't want to take away those eggs or that cheese or that bread. But once they take it out and they put it back in their body, they might feel joint pain, they might feel low energy, they might not be able to sleep, they might see skin issues. And those are things that we just can't deny.
So this process that you've discovered, created, or both, how can we all live better longer, particularly as we age, the boomers, who are my audience primarily, how can we all live better longer using your approach?
So my approach, there's 5 different major strategies, but one of them that is a general theme throughout is finding your tribe. And of course this means like finding your friends and your family that are close to you that want to help. But what I've found through this process is that Facebook groups that are aligned to specific eating strategies or health challenges, they are providing an extremely valuable support to people going through this change process. The other thing I found is that you have to be open to finding other members of your tribe in places you wouldn't normally expect. There was another mom at my child's school who was going through a very similar health challenge and trying to eat a similar way. And we would often share stories about how difficult it was and things we used to get through it. So at the end of the day, especially your family and friends, they want to help you. You need to also show them how. So if you're going to someone's house for dinner, they don't know what celiac is, explain to them what ingredients you can and can't have, perhaps offer to bring a side dish or a meal so that you can stay safe. But having a tribe made up of a variety of people is really the most successful way to make sustainable change.
Good advice. I know when my wife and I are having people over, my wife will usually say, "Is there something you're not eating these days?"
That's a great way. And the majority of people are. I mean, I found in my book that 80% of people are following a specific type of diet to address a health issue. So the change is coming. People are seeing the benefits.
So you wrote this book and called Change Bites, and I noticed that Bites is all in caps. So tell me how the name of the book came to be.
Well, I started to think about how difficult the change was, even for somebody who had done change management work her entire career. Change actually makes us feel uncomfortable. If somebody told you tomorrow that you could no longer eat wheat or bread or dairy or your favorite French fries, it actually promotes this terrible feeling in your stomach, in your gut, ironically, because it's just uncomfortable and it's new. And so the idea of Change Bites is that that's how we all initially react to changes in our diet. Like, this stinks, but it doesn't have to be. And that's why I created a 5-step process to really help people through the whole process in a very structured way. I mean, we don't expect businesses to change overnight, so I don't know how we can expect ourselves to completely change our diets in one day.
So you basically took the behaviors that you used when you were with Accenture, working with teams and with individuals, and you looked at the parts of that process and you applied that to changing eating habits.
Exactly. Exactly. That's exactly right. And one of the first places we started is understanding why the change is happening in the first place. To get employees to really embrace a new change, they're not going to do it necessarily just because you tell them to, but they will really embrace the change if they understand why it's important to the company, why it's important to them. Well, it's the same thing with our health. If you really stop and think, it's not really weight that I have found in my practice is a driving factor to create sustainable motivation over time, but it's the little health challenges that we're all trying to solve. So if I said you have to lose 5 pounds, You might stay motivated for maybe a week. But if I told you that the challenge you're having with getting a really good night's sleep, or the aches and pains you're having, the muscle aches, or the digestive problems, if I told you that you could heal those in changing your diet, there's much more of an incentive. So that's just one example of understanding the why that works in businesses and with your health.
One thing that I've known for years is that people who are significantly overweight, whatever that means, generally have other physical issues
Yes.
that they deal with, either with their musculoskeletal system, knee or back pain, or possibly, again, sleep issues, things for which they then get medication prescribed,
Yes.
which then adds more stress to their immune system.
Yes.
And so just the idea of looking at food and having a different relationship with food, if you start eating appropriately, I would think that the natural result from that would be weight loss, wouldn't it, for most people?
Absolutely. Most of my clients come to me, and our main focus is whatever their health issues are. Some of them do want to lose weight, but we never make that a priority. And inevitably, they end up losing weight, but it's not the focus because, frankly, it just doesn't keep them motivated enough. So.
Well, we all know about the slingshot effect with people who go on the latest fad diet to lose weight. And yeah, they do lose 10, 20, 30 pounds, and then they put it back on and frequently add more because they're not changing their eating habits, their lifestyle.
That's right.
It's not sustainable as a result.
That's
so
right.
You're talking about sustainable change.
Absolutely, absolutely. And there's ways that you can get there. I call it one bite at a time. So in business, we say, go slow to go fast, right? If the more radical the diet is that you're trying to jump to, and the more it is completely different from the way that you're eating today, I call that a recipe for disaster because you're jumping to it overnight. Again, that's why 95% of diets fail. You're looking for that quick fix, and you're not creating those sustainable changes over time that will give you the benefits for the long haul.
So, if people would like to get a copy of Change Bites, they can go to Amazon, correct?
Absolutely. You can look, just go to Amazon and type Change Bites, and there's a picture
There
of
it
a
is.
plate with food.
Absolutely. And so when you order your book, I'm assuming you could either get the paperback or an ebook.
Yes, the ebook is actually coming out this week.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And of course, don't forget to review the book.
Yes, please review the book. That makes a big difference, and we've gotten such great reviews already, and I couldn't be happier. So.
Well, we're going to talk more after we take a break for a word from our
Great.
sponsor. This
Thank
is
you.
Bill Borton. I'll be back with more with Marissa Costonis after a word from our sponsor.
My name's Casey Price, host of a brand new show called Everyday Elder Care. My show will help you take the stress out of caring for your elderly loved one by educating you about options and solutions you may not even know exist. Tune in every Tuesday at noon on RVN TV. We'll see you there.
Imagine the finest hand-selected USDA prime steak you'll ever have. The freshest line-caught seafood, our Wine Spectator award-winning wine list, and soul-satisfying desserts. Bring that together with the perfect date, the winning business deal, a memorable family celebration. Welcome to Rod's Steak and Seafood Grill in nearby Morristown, New Jersey. Bring your appetite and feed your passion.
Love my style, I'm dancing tonight. My style from pearly white side. Love myself, love my style. Pearly white, love your smile. From teens to grown-ups braces, they can change your life. All ages and all faces, your smile from pearly white. Love yourself, love your style. Pearly white, love your smile.
For independent.
Welcome back to Live Better Longer. I'm your host, Bill Borton, here with Marissa Costonis, author of Change Bites.
Yes.
So, Marissa, Individuals can benefit tremendously from this book, which is not just something that you read, it's a whole how-to book with exercises in it.
Correct.
But you're also taking this to companies, are you not?
Correct. We have gotten such a great response from businesses looking to improve their healthcare costs. Healthcare costs are through the roof, and now we have very specific research that proves that the top illnesses are preventable by diet. So my theory is I think businesses need to take a much more active role to help their employees eat better and live longer. So I've come up with a whole host of approaches that businesses can take to help their employees eat better. Ideas like providing meal kit deliveries to them, to families that need to go home and eat. In the research that I did, I found out that shopping and cooking is one of the top 3 things that gets in the way of people being able to eat a certain way for their health.
Well, I know in most companies in the past, you had to be a large company before your own experience affected your rates or your claims if you were paying your own claims as a self-funded employer. But I've been learning that more and more smaller employers are pooling into trusts to do self-funded plans where the claims utilization of their employees becomes so much more important. And so companies of all sizes now should be paying more attention. And this is not just a warm and fuzzy wellness plan.
Yes.
This is a way of actually, again, bringing change. And you talk about the tribe of your coworkers is one that you probably spend the most time with.
That you're 100% right, Bill. And we are seeing changes with small companies as small as 5 to 20 employees, where they have instituted things like a lot of the technology folks in the organization are on a keto diet. So the company sponsors a snack box once a month. And employees are so excited about it, and they rally around, and it brings increased productivity, teamwork, and you're also helping them to eat better. Instead of grabbing that bag of chips or something else or candy, they're eating from this team snack box. Also, that same company has brought in a masseuse once a month. We found productivity went through the roof again. And this is how it affects the bottom line, which is the coolest part of all. Employees are happier, they're more productive. Retention rates have a good possibility of going straight up. But most importantly, these companies are getting checks back from insurance companies with reimbursements because they just didn't spend all of their healthcare money.
It's wonderful. Well, again, happier, healthier, more cognitively clear employees are going to be more productive and contribute more to the bottom line. So this is really interesting. So again, if people want to buy your book, I know they can go to Amazon.com, but if people want to find you, you have a website, correct?
I do. So you can go to www.changebites.com. I also have an Instagram page called Change Bites, and I'm on Facebook and LinkedIn. And my Instagram account has a lot of different ideas for cooking foods that are just whole, simple foods, and different ways to cook them to make your life easier and ultimately more healthy.
So on your website, I've been there, and it's very nice.
Thank you.
So how people can avail themselves of more by becoming members, is that correct?
Well,
so you buy the book and then become a member, is that?
Yes, a member of sorts for sure. If you buy the book, there are a lot of different tools and journal entries and worksheets that are available to you. And what I've put online is if you own the book, there is a secret member-only section. Yes, and you can then print out extra copies of the journals and the worksheets and the entries, because the great thing about this process is, let's say you want to give up one type of food, or you want to eat more plants or give up dairy. You can use this process to do that, but then you can use this process over and over again to make constant changes to your diet and your health. So you can use the worksheets as many times as you'd like.
Little by little, it's a cinch
Bite
by the
by
inch,
bite.
but it's hard by the yard, right? So,
Absolutely.
well, so this has been terrific. So I have been very happy to have you on the show. I wish you much success with Change Bites. And I would like all of our viewers to please make sure they go to Amazon.com, buy the book, review the book, and then go on to Marissa's website and register to be able to get access to all these extra tools and goodies.
That would be great.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much, Bill.
Well, Marissa, it's been wonderful having you on the show. I thank you very much. So until next week, this is Bill Borton, when I'll be back next Tuesday at 11 with another episode of Live Better Longer. Thank you very much for watching.